Russell. I'm going to tell you a little bit today about my Pedalboard. Same one that I used to record my 8-song EP True with. I might swap some things out later, but I'll show you. Okay, so starting with the construction of the Pedalboard itself, I found an old Coca-Cola sign, and that looked pretty cool. Flip this thing down here. So it's just a solid constructed wood box. So recessed jack back here for electricity. And there's some really great custom pedal boards on Etsy if you're interested. That's the Blackbird Feather Board. It's pretty cool. There's a bunch of great ones. So yeah, that's it. Let's get everything running. This is a stereo board, but we're in mono today. Turn power on. Everything lights up nice. Okay, so I kind of play a rockabilly style music, or at least a modern take on that. So that's what I need my pedal board to do. That's one of the coolest things about pedal boards is there's kind of this hot roddy style individuality to every board. It's as unique as you're playing. That's the basic sound. I'll go through each pedal and show you what I'm doing. Okay, quick disclaimer. Obviously, you don't need a huge pedal board to play this kind of music. Almost any tube amp that's loud enough to be heard over your drummer with an overdrive channel and a solid spring reverb, it should be more than enough to do the job. If you're gonna add one pedal, go with a simple delay. Almost any delay pedal will work. If you're gonna add a second pedal, tuner, cause yeah, that should be enough. If you're selecting an amp, I recommend picking one that's light enough to carry with one arm. But yeah, and as long as we understand that talking about a gigantic pedal board for this kind of music is squarely in the realm of geeking out, let's go. Okay, so actually the very first thing in my board is a wireless. So I have the Shure GLD16. Also functions as a tuner, so that kind of, it also silences, so while it's in tuning mode, so that really kills two birds with one stone. Tuner, wireless, really awesome. No problems with it, not difficult to set up, it just works. First real pedal that affects my sound is the Nocturne Atomic Brain. That's a Tavo Vega pedal. This thing is cool. So right now everything's off, so I'll just start turning them on one by one, right? So basically it just heats up the signal coming off like a Filtertron style pickup. It can get pretty monstrous if you want it to, and then he's got this setting for sort of rolling off the bass, because as you get louder it can get sort of farty. So anyway, I just usually leave this set about like that. He's also got this boost for lead playing, which I don't use that often because that brings me to the second pedal in the chain, which is a Keeley limiting amplifier. This pedal absolutely kicks ass. It's not funky like compressors I've tried in the past were. It really does a good job of emulating a sort of studio style compression for your guitar. At least that's how I feel about it. So let's turn that on. So you can tell I don't have it set super high. So you can dial up the compression and sort of even out your playing. I love this pedal. I think it really helps tighten up my clean sound. So, Overdrive. This is actually the third pedal in the chain, even though it's down here, but I use it a lot, so it needs to be down where I can easily sort of reach it with my feet. The Strymon Sunset Overdrive. It's two overdrive pedals in one, and it has a function. There's a little switch in the back. You can sort of stack the A effect into the B effect, or the B effect into the A effect. My favorite part about this pedal is the third function, which is, instead of stacking, it sort of mathematically combines them in an appealing way. And so it kind of has one pedal, the other pedal, or a super pedal. I ended up liking that more than the stacking of A to B, B to A. Who knows, you try it, you might feel different. So anyway, the first thing I have is the sort of, it's almost an always on setting unless I want to be clean. So I just have that as my low. And that's cool because it's a much more lower, cleaner, boosty overdrive with a nice tone, whereas using something more like a tube screamer, generic tube screamer, it's got a lot of like a metally tinge to it, whereas this just has a really nice boost. And so since I leave that on a lot, I accidentally turn it on and off with my foot when I'm trying to hit this lead channel here. So go to the hardware store, get yourself one of these bad boys. It's not quite the size of a lug nut, I don't think. Fits right on over a pedal that you don't want to accidentally hit. So I can come in here fast and sloppy, turn on the lead channel, and not accidentally turn off this effect that I want on all the time. Okay, so the second overdrive channel. So here it is without. Combining them, A and B together. I like the effect of it. Okay, so from the Strymon Sunset Overdrive, the next pedal in the chain is a Moore Red Truck. And you're like, Moore Red Truck? Why would you want that? Well, I think it's pretty cool, and I'll tell you why I think so. It covers a lot of different pedals. First thing is I use the performance mode of it. So if you double tap this, it goes into performance mode. So starting with reverb, you can hear the difference. So that's a big difference right there with just reverb. It's also all these three, the reverb, the delay, and the mod, are also controlled by the tap function, so I can set the timing of how these act. So the next thing I would have is the delay. So for rockabilly style delay, that slapback sound, to me, it's triplet based, right? So different people will tell you different things, and they're all right. So you can hear that slapback, and right now I just have a quarter note triplet coming back at me. It might be an eighth with what I tapped in, but decka, 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 decka. So if I turn it back off and then turn it on, I play the same thing. It's just got that swing to it, that shuffle. So that's it with the triplet coming right back at me. You can also do a dotted eighth. And again, without it. And that dotted feel is more like what your bass player is gonna do. So if you're looking at this like triplet function, because to me, rockabilly is sort of swing punk, or a band trying to sound like a jazz band. So it's got this triplet swing feel in it. And that decka, 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 you can sort of play with the triplets of it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can go 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you might want to leave the 3 for your bass player and fill the 2 in with your delay, or match them. Depends on how tight you want it to sound and how much you want to punch through. It's your choice. There's no right or wrong answer, really. But that's that slap back. And of course it's controlled. So yeah, you can control the speed of it pretty quickly, especially if when you play live you get excited and play too fast. You can just adjust it while you're playing. All right, so that's we're down here in the red track. That's reverb and delay settings with the tap function setting the timing. Next big thing you can add to that is tremolo. That's what I like about the performance mode for this, is right now I have these 3 pedals on, and if I don't, one click they're gone, one click all 3 pedals are back on. Same thing, just those 2 don't work. So that is amazing. You don't have to dance all these pedals back on and off. And I just keep building into common things that I would need. So that's those 3 pedals. Here's those 3 with tube screamer added to it. I think it's a generic tube screamer. So kind of noisy. The tube screamer at its lowest setting it's a lot of metal. So I don't use it that often, but that's available. One click I can have those 4 pedals on or gone, which is really fantastic. And then over here is kind of that same thing. That same thing with the tremolo removed. So that's basically a generic tube screamer, delay, and reverb. Gone in a touch of a button. So say what you will about the red truck, and by the way, I had this for a long time before I figured out they call it a red truck, because this looks like a little red truck with wheels. Yeah, it's dumb. But super cool stereo effects, lots of simple pedals built into one, controlled by a click, so the timing works perfectly with your song. That's really neat. Okay, so the Moore Red Truck has a send and return in the middle of it. So basically the drive and distortion, the distortion I actually don't ever use. And in performance mode it doesn't even matter, because I've assigned that to being these 4 pedals. So after these 2 pedals, there's a send and return. So you can add different effects before the reverb, delay, and tremolo, and after your overdrives. That comes up here to one of my favorite pedals. The Keeley Memphis Sun is a really neat little pedal, and it could almost be the only pedal you play with. It really has, I mean, if you got an amp with spring reverb and gain, it's got a really awesome reverb in it and a really great delay pedal. It's got this sort of modulation, so I'll turn it off. Let me turn off my overdrive so you can hear what the pedal does better. It's on. Awesome. It's just a cool pedal. You could actually play with just that pedal. But I keep the settings kind of low and use it as a sort of flavor enhancer. I don't know if you can see the pedal. So anyway, that's kind of always on. So in fact, this whole top row is sort of my always on pedals. I don't like to step over stuff, so these kind of get left on. I keep it sort of subtle, so all my settings are sort of dialed back, because it's just flavor for me. I'm sort of calling this my clean tone, and it ain't, but like it sounds cool. So yeah, clean tone. Clean tone with a little overdrive on it. That's always on. All right, so basically from the return from the Memphis Sun, mono ended, stereo at that point, stereo tremolo, stereo delay, stereo reverb, and all controlled by the tap function, so things vibrate with the tempo of the song. Super awesome. So now we come out of there, and the final stop on the pedal board is the Strymon Blue Sky, which I just use in spring reverb mode, and it's super great. So you hear that? Love that sound. Once you get used to playing like that, you don't want to hear it any other way. It accepts the stereo coming out of the red truck. I have left and right channels. When I recorded the record, I used 2 amps, 2 different kinds of amps, so hopefully that'll provide some texture and people will like that sort of original sound coming from this board into 2 different amps. So yeah, that's pretty much my board. So with everything, a common way for me to run it would sound about like this. Really cool, in my opinion. So, and then if you're thinking like, oh, but you got to have a bunch of vintage gear and a crazy amp, you don't. This whole thing is through Vox Mini 3. It sounds fine. It's more than my wife cares to hear anyway. So in case you were wondering, that is a second body pack for the GLD16. I just keep that charging there and swap it out whenever one goes down. And this guy up here, who I get a lot of questions about, that's just a power supply. I just had so many wires under that I couldn't keep it under anymore. So yeah, it's just a power supply with Nosferatu there. So that's it. That's my pedal board. I learned so much from other people's YouTube videos that I hope this helps somebody else, even if you're not going to do anything like this. I know I watched other people's videos that had nothing to do with what I was doing, and I found it incredibly useful. Thanks to all you guys, and I hope this helps. Bye.